Good to go.
Okay, great. So Daniel, thank you for talking to us. First thing to ask you about the trial. Why is this such an important trial for the FA?
So we've been talking about this for some time, Jamie, as you're probably aware, and we took the proposal of running a trial to the International Football Association Board last year at the AGM in Qatar. This is important because we want to explore whether the deployment of the devices improves participant behaviour in the grassroots game. It's also important that we give that referee the added level of safety, security and confidence to go out and referee on a regular basis.
And how many county FAs are taking part in the trial at the moment?
4 county football associations are taking part in the trial. So we have North Riding here, we have Essex, we have Worcestershire and we have Liverpool, and there's one league being used in each of the county FAs.
And what's been the early feedback on the cameras from the referees that have used it?
So far so good. The feedback has generally been very, very positive. As you know, these devices are not on throughout the course of the 90 minutes, so the referee physically has to press the button to activate. We've not had any activations yet, which is encouraging in itself. So the feedback from the referees, if anything, has been one of positivity, that they feel that they've got that added level of safety, security, that should they need to press the button, it couples the discipline report that they would normally submit.
And so they're reporting maybe a change in player behaviour that they're witnessing so far?
I think what's happening is players and coaches are seeing these devices as a preventative tool and maybe thinking twice before acting irresponsibly and maybe sort of allowing their emotions to get the better of themselves.
And how does the footage, if they do record it, is the idea that they submit anything that they do record to the FA?
Yeah, so what happens, these devices are securely encrypted, so the referee can't access the footage, nor could me or you if we sort of got one of these devices now. So what happens is if it is activated, that's then securely uploaded to a cloud within the Football Association, which then our colleagues in the discipline department will use with the report submitted by the referee to assess the situation.
And obviously the professional game has an impact down to grassroots. How important is it that players at the top are setting the right example to grassroots football?
Well, of course, very important, and our colleagues within the professional game are fully aware that the sort of behaviour that our colleagues in the grassroots game will see at that level is really, really important. So it's important that they kind of set the tone. We're working very positively and in collaboration with our colleagues in the professional game, and they're working really hard to sort of address player behaviour, coach behaviour. You plug that into what we're doing here and a number of other things that we're exploring within the Football Association to look at participant behaviour. Hopefully we'll get some positive results.
And what would success look like for this trial?
Well, the ultimate success is that we're eradicating any kind of poor behaviour and lack of respect from participants towards match officials. So far so good, because these devices have yet to be activated. We're looking at a number of other routes to sort of address that as well. Equally, we've got to remember that without a referee we don't have a game. And we're very, very committed at the Football Association to explore any route possible to give our grassroots referees that added level of confidence, security and safety to go out and referee on a regular sort of basis.
So what you mentioned there about other things that you're trying to look at, are you able to say any more about what those?
Yeah, of course, with pleasure, yeah. So, currently what we're looking at is increasing suspensions for those players and coaches that have been found guilty of misconduct. We are looking at sort of providing education and training to people to almost sort of increase their knowledge and empathy of how tough refereeing can be and the impact of poor behaviour. And still to be confirmed, but we are currently looking at exploring within the adult grassroots game around point deductions for persistent offenders and the clubs that they represent, but that's still to be ratified and confirmed.
And obviously at the heart of all this is trying to, as you say, drive out abuse from football and also have an impact on recruitment, I imagine. Is that really key to this, to try and keeping referees feeling encouraged and new referees wanting to come through? Because surely if they see people being abused all the time, it's not really something they're going to want to do, is it?
We shouldn't lose sight of the fact that 99.9% of games are played up and down this country every single week, every single weekend, that go without incident. But one incident in the eyes of the Football Association is still too many, and that's why we are exploring the use of bodycams and other routes, as I've just mentioned. It's not having a detrimental effect on recruitment so far. We have 29,000 referees in this country. Of course we want to grow that. Of course we want to add to it. We also want to make sure that we're retaining referees. And if you are a referee that does encounter, sadly, a bad experience or a negative encounter in your refereeing, we're working really hard with them to make sure that we don't lose them and we retain them within the refereeing community. So recruitment-wise, we're in a positive position. People's availability post-COVID's been a challenge because people have found other things to do, but it's certainly not a reflection of what they encounter in 99.9% of the games up and down this country.
And should the trial succeed, I think at the end of next season it will be reviewed, is it something that logistically can be rolled out across? I mean, obviously there must be a cost element to this. Are you confident that it is something that could be rolled out nationally at adult grassroots level?
Yeah, let's wait and see, because we're in really sort of early stages, Jamie, so far. We're going to continually track and monitor this throughout the remainder of the season. We're going to take, as you know, throughout the course of 23-24, and we'll assess the results and feedback that we get at the end of that season before making any further decisions. But we are very, very committed to exploring any route possible for wider rollout if they are deemed to be positive and successful at the end of the trial.
And one last one on the sanctions that go alongside. Obviously the camera itself is a deterrent, as you say, kind of preventative measure. Do you think the sanctions that are there currently are strong enough? I think you mentioned they're being reviewed. Do you think players are clear enough on what consequences there will be for particular actions on the field? Yeah,
I think so. And internally, we're working really hard to make sure that we're promoting those guidelines to ensure people act responsibly when they play or when they coach football. And we're working with our discipline departments to make sure that referees have a voice. Where they don't feel that punishments are sufficient for players and managers and coaches that they've come across where they've had to act and take action, we make sure that we feed back that to our colleagues within the discipline department at the Football Association.
Thank you very much.
Pleasure.
Absolute pleasure.
No problem at all.